Good afternoon, Arundel County. Good afternoon, America. This is Promoting Don't Get Fooled Again with Class. I'm your host, Anthony Bynum. The name for our production company is the Glen Burnie Players. So let's start off with some important new information. Tonight, we're going to be sending over the newest episode, which is episode 6 of Don't Get Fooled Again, out for post-production work. So we're pretty excited about that. Now let's get on with the interim, which is Promoting Don't Get Fooled Again with Class. This is a show that we do that helps to keep the spotlight on the show. Oh, apparently I gotta fix my collar here. Spotlight on the actual show, but the format's a little different. In the format, we always like to start with somebody that we speak about, someone that we admire out of history. And again, we use a lot of research from Wikipedia, give credit where credit's due. So this week was a bit of a quandary. I decided that I was going to speak about Don Cornelius, the great host of Soul Train. I had written an article for LSIA's Monitor, and I had did some research on Don Cornelius, Dick Clark, Bob Barker for that show. And again, I was going to highlight Don Cornelius. However, all that changed with a recent encounter that I had over at Fort Meade. I needed to have some work done to one of my hats. As you can see, I'm not wearing my Gotham hat. I needed to have some work done to one of my hats. And while I was over at Fort Meade, I decided to get a bite to eat. As I walked down the hall, I came across this, must have been a 12 by 12 poster of the cast from Good Times, sitting at the table with a fantastic smile, a very gracious, but very attractive woman. I have to say she was. It was the actress Bernadette Stannis. She played the role of Thelma in Good Times. And there was nobody around. I had an audience with her. It was a fantastic experience. So let's go to the fundamentals. Bernadette Stannis was born December 22nd. I'm not going to say what year, but you'll never guess. You'll never guess. Now, of course, she played Thelma, the only person who could keep JJ grounded on that show. The show ran from 1974 to 1979. I shared with her how dismayed I was at the special episode where the father, James Evans, was going to move the family to Mississippi. He had got a great job down there and was going to ready for a new start. And then the telegram came that he had died in a car accident. And I remember how hard it was to sleep that night. I told her this. And I said, there must be a mistake. This is wrong. No. So that's important television. It's important television. So anyway, in case you think this is a tall tale, that's the picture right there. In fact, she even wrote this little thing in there for me. So again, it was a great treat. It was a great treat, and just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Sometimes that happens. Okay, so we like to cover either a speech, a poem, something along those lines. Usually they're upbeat, but this one is a very important speech, but it's not upbeat, but it's very important. This speech was given on March 5th, 1946, by the great Winston Churchill, Prime Minister of England during those war years, World War II, and Prime Minister after also for a period of time. The speech was given at Westminster College in Fulton, I believe, California. He spoke these words: from Stettin in the Baltic to Treacy in the Adriatic, an iron curtain has descended across the continent. Behind that line lies all the capitals of the ancient states of Central and Eastern Europe. Warsaw, Poland, Prague, Vienna, Budapest, Belgrade, Bucharest, Sofia. All these famous cities and the populations around them lie in what I must call the Soviet sphere. And all are subject in one form or another, not only to the Soviet influence, but a very high, and in many cases, increasing measure of control from Moscow. Cold War lasted a long time in this country, a long time. He was just letting us know. All right, we're going to move on. So I'd like to cover something about a county, some sort of landmark, something of value in Anne Arundel County. This one comes out of a need. I've recently written a play for a May Day celebration that's coming up in Ferndale, May 20th. So we'll be talking more about that later. But I needed some pictures of the Glen Burnie Carnival, old vintage pictures. And so the best place to get them was a place called the Kuther Library. Now, hopefully I'm pronouncing that properly. Let's go to the fundamentals. This is a 501c3 organization. It's jointly operated by the Anne Arundel County Historical Society and the Anne Arundel Genealogical Society. It was built by a William Kuther, and again, I hope I'm pronouncing that properly, in 1932 to serve the public. Here's a picture of the facility. Let's see if you can get a good look at that. There you go. I think that one works pretty good right about there. Okay. So that's going to wrap things up. Again, the big news is that we're going to be sending over episode 6. Don't get fooled again. Post-production. We're going to be sending that over. And in the meantime, this has been Anthony Bynum for promoting Don't Get Fooled Again with class. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.